A Minot woman pleaded guilty to murder after fatally poisoning her boyfriend with antifreeze. Ina Canoyer entered a guilty plea today to double-A felony murder in the death of 51-year-old Stephen Riley Jr. Investigators say that they believe the 48-year-old poisoned Riley with antifreeze on the false belief that she would receive part of a multi-million-dollar inheritance upon his death. Police have since said that they believe the inheritance likely never existed. Authorities further looked into the matter when some of Riley's friends came forward with concerns regarding the circumstances of his death. Canoyer will be sentenced on August 13th in Minot. She faces the chance of life in prison without the possibility